Hi guys, this is Mr. Tan, and today's session is hospitality management. And these session aims includes defining a tourist destination, list the different categories of destination, recognize the complexity of the destination as a tourist product, and to highlight why destinations are subject to, changing fortunes using the TALC model. In the business world, I suppose you could use the product life cycle as well, similar to the TALC model. So overview, we're going to give a short update. We're going to review tourism destination definition, common features of a destination, the nature of destination, the physical, psychological elements of a destination, categories of a destination, destination typology, destination image, the push and pull factors, stereotypes of a destination. We're going to look at some Visit Britain examples, the TALC model in tourism and hospitality, influences on destination development, IC, tourist typologies, and tourism and hospitality stakeholders, and then a recap. So that's going to be a brief overview today. 10-minute updates, spend the first 10 minutes of the session looking at industry specific websites, and either post on Twitter or on Facebook group what is happening in the industry now. So what are the main headlines? What's actually happening now? I think everyone's going to be talking about COVID and how the tourism and hospitality industry is basically shut down across Europe anyway, but not all over the world, maybe not in China. But even though tourism and hospitality, in terms of international tourists going into China, is controlled, a 14-day quarantine. Some places may be longer, depending upon which cities you're going to. So, tourism destination definition. This is the UNWTO 2002 and Cooper in 2016. So they say a tourist destination is a physical space in which tourists spend at least one overnight. It includes tourism products such as support services and attractions, and tourist resources within 1 day's return travel time. It has physical and administrative boundaries defining its management, images and perceptions defining its market competitiveness. Destinations incorporate various stakeholders, often including a host community, and can nest, and network to form larger destinations. Destinations can be on any scale, from a whole country, a region, or an island to a village, a town, or city, or even a self-contained center. So we kind of covered definitions before, but this seems to be a lot more comprehensive and specific in terms of what they're saying. Common features of tourist destinations, amalgamations made up of many different things such as attractions, amenities, cultural appraisals, inseparable. Tourism is provided where it is consumed. Not just used by tourists, but by many groups. Cooper 2016. The nature of destinations. So many different elements make up the appeal. The physical destination, maybe the only one aspect, unusual, transport or accommodation can encourage visitation. But you must consider the physical and psychological elements of the destination, the image and promotion of a destination. The physical and psychological elements of destinations includes the amenities, infrastructure, definitely, and it has a big part to play. There are some countries that you go to that the infrastructure is not there to travel from one place to another. If you look like India, and they have many beautiful places, and it's very difficult to travel. Amenities as well. Do they have all the amenities there? The psychological side as well. The atmosphere is easygoing, relaxed, exciting, exotic, frantic, and distinguished. Emotions generated. Is it a shock, awe, security and joyfulness? So again, looking at the both physical and psychological side of things. So categories of destinations. So there are basically two ways to categorize a destination. So you can, categorize a destination in terms of a base or transit location. So this can be, centered. It could be a base. It could be a multi-center, touring or transit. And then, geographic or physical characteristics, including coastal, urban, rural, island or spa. And they all encourage a different type of tourism to develop. Destination typology: centered, Benidorm, Miami Beach; multi-centered, Baltic capitals. Destination as a base, Cheltenham, Gloucester, gateway to the Cotswolds, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, gateway to the Great Smoky Mountains; Banff, Alberta, gateway to the Rocky Mountains. Touring destinations, cruising. So you've got so many different places to go, and then you've got transit destinations as well. Troyes, Dijon in France. Again, it's suggested by Holloway 2012. And what about the destination image? What images and thoughts come to mind about, with the following destinations? Egypt, I don't know, I suppose for me it's the pyramids. Florida, I suppose it's the beaches. Iraq, I'm not sure. London, City of London, maybe Buckingham Palace. Tenerife, beaches, clubs perhaps. Paris, romance. The Eiffel Tower perhaps. So, why, in your opinion, do you think this way about these destinations? What do you think has influenced you? Well, what has influenced me, I suppose, are the images. Maybe films like around Paris and romance. Marketing, advertising, and the positioning of these tourism and hospitality organizations within these countries and how they promote themselves. Push and pull factors, push factors, the stage of economic development, in a generating region, and will include such factors as levels of affluence, mobility, and holiday entitlement. An advanced stage of economic development will give the population the means to engage in tourism, while an unfavorable climate will also provide a strong impetus to travel. Pull factors, include accessibility and the attractions and the amenities of the destination area. The relative cost of the visit is also important, as it is the effectiveness of marketing and promotion by the destination. Definitely, and marketing and promotion. You're trying to, segment your marketplace. You're trying to target specific people who you want to come to your marketplace, and then you, in a way, because the world is becoming a smaller place, you need to position yourself as being unique and different to the reasons why tourists will want to go to one country as opposed to another. So you need to position yourself as well. So marketing and promotion is very important to meet those needs of customers or consumers. Stereotypes of a destination, purposefully enforced by marketers to create an image, a brand for a destination. Again, the positioning strategy, and targeted towards specific target markets after you've done your segmentation. British stereotypes includes, route master buses and red phone boxes, black cabs, beef eaters, all utilised by Visit Britain as a way to portray classic Britain. What are the stereotypes associated with either, your home country or a country of your own choice? Do some secondary research, as there may be some who are not aware of. Find some examples and how they are used to promote that country. So look at a country and that you don't know perhaps, and see what you think or how that country is trying to market itself. Visit Britain, again, the great tourism campaign, the home of Amazing Moments campaign, and the 2017-18 Visit Britain marketing highlights. And you've got the Visit Britain and the Visit England. So the government plows money into these organisations to actually market the UK, because tourism, domestic tourism and international tourism, is extremely important to the tourism and hospitality industry in terms of jobs, in terms of employment, in terms of taxes and company tax, corporation tax, in terms of employee tax, and so on and so forth. So I have some examples here of Visit Britain and some of the campaigns that they've done, showing looks like the Highlands here. This looks like I think Teesside. This looks like maybe the South Coast, and then Britain's countryside. This just looks actually very beautiful. And then here you've got Stonehenge. Stonehenge, people have been trying to find out for years the meaning of this. I think recently they've said they've uncovered burial sites deep beneath the area surrounding Stonehenge, so they think it might have been a burial site, so they say. But they do say that these stones here were transported all the way from Wales. I'm not too sure if it was north or southwards, but transported all the way down from Wales. Absolutely amazing. So when stereotypes become a problem, sun, sea and sand, identity kit destination, attracts mass tourism, now looking to widen its appeal. So you could stereotype yourself as a specific type location where specific types of people go to that place. If you think of Tenerife, and you think of places like that where young people go to party all night, get drunk, go to parties, and to be quite disruptive if you're from England. The Talc model here, tourist area life cycle, a bit similar to the product life cycle for products in the manufacturing or retail sector. So here you have the demand for a specific tourist destination, and you have the discovery stage, which is exploration, the local control in terms of involvement, institutionalism in terms of development, consolidation and stagnation, and then in the final stage, like stage 4, you've got stagnation, rejuvenation or decline, where you rejuvenate the area, you remarket it, you rebuild it, rebuild it up, invest into that area to rejuvenate it, or it goes down into decline. I mean, I can remember early in the 1980s, when Brighton was quite a run-down area. But then later, more investment was ploughed into the area in terms of the clubs, in terms of the pier, in terms of the area to clean it all up. And now it's, rejuvenated. And it seems to be, doing very well for itself on the south coast. Influences on destination development. Consumer trends, destinations, core resources and attractions, strength of the destination's economy, focus on their government, destination policy and planning, political status of the destination, destination's availability of an access of resources, the macro and micro factors, and effective destination management. So these are some of the influences on the development of destinations. So new tourist destinations, Baku, Libya, Gaza, space. So in terms of a discussion, after watching certain videos, but even if you're thinking about these names, what does it mean to you? And what images come up in your minds when you think of these places? And would you actually go and go to any one of these destinations for a holiday? I don't know. So but what do you think that each of these destinations would face when trying to grow touristic activities? And if you were, the government officials in any one of these areas, how would you try and market these areas, and who would you be trying to target? So these would be some of the kind of difficulties that when a place has a certain image, that place would need to kind of reposition themselves for the future, but then again that would require investment for them to do that. Problems to be faced by destinations in the future: volatility in fuel prices, recession, fluctuating exchange rates, environmental concerns, transport congestion, terrorism, political unrest, war, and you've got that's not in here obviously COVID-19 and other viruses that could stop people from traveling, and even fluctuating exchange rates. But even though you may have fluctuating exchange rates, they could be pros and cons of these, in that if you take the UK and you think about Brexit and you think that the pound is being devalued in relation to the euro, then that has meant that it's more expensive for domestic tourists to want to go and holiday in Europe, because you're going to get less value for your pound when you're exchanging it to the euro. So that could encourage more home tourists to go on a holiday within the UK rather than going international, and likewise that could encourage more international tourists to come into your country, because now the value of the euro is a lot stronger than the value of the pound, so they're actually getting better value for their euro. So again, even though these are problems, they will have their pros and cons as well. And here we have the tourist typology and travel destination choice. Plog's Allocentric and Psychocentric scale. So if you look at the Psychocentric dependable and Allocentric scale, so you from left to right, you kind of like got Coney Island, Miami Beach, and then you've got the mid-center, then the Japan and Asia, South Pacific and Africa, leaning all towards Allocentric, and again on the left you've got the Coney Island with the Psychocentric dependable, and you got the psychographic positions of destinations from 1972 and the psychographic positions of destinations in 2001. So you can see how certain areas and certain regions can be classified in terms of Plog's kind of like definitions in terms of Allocentric and Psychocentric scale, according to Holloway 2012. Stakeholder definition. In other words, anyone who has a stake or an interest in a company or destination. Their actions aid the success of the business, and they may also benefit somehow from the success of the operation. So these are the groups of businesses, residents, government and tourists who have a stake in the development of tourism. Fletcher 2013. Stakeholders in the tourism and hospitality industry. Who do you think the stakeholders of a destination are? You have 2 minutes to list as many as you can, by yourself, using a notebook. So, destination stakeholders, tour operators, hotel company, local attractions, travel agents, employees, airlines, banks, investors, airports, taxis, train company, cruise and ferry operators, coach operators, customers, tourists, tour guides, resort representative. So, food and drink suppliers, laundry services, restaurants, host population, pressure groups, government. Okay, I think we've exhausted this list of the destination stakeholders. Seasonality, seasonality, the temporal fluctuations of tourism on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Fletcher, 2013, and can be caused by a number of factors such as the weather, climate, when it is traditional to travel to that destination, e.g., Lapland at Christmas. So seasonality very important to the tourism and hospitality industry, depending upon where it is. So we think about seasonality in tourist destinations. The degree of seasonality, you've got on the bottom, you've got the level of commercial development, and then you've got the degree of seasonality on the left hand side. So how seasonal is it and how much has it been developed? And you've got links to the past in terms of less development, in terms of heritage sites and religious sites, because they're not going to be, but they are an attraction in themselves, and they'll be non-seasonal, but limited development. But likewise, if you think about degree of seasonality where it's high, hunting retreats and guest ranches, seasonal delights like mountain resorts, seaside resorts, summer resorts, and then if you think about the high level of development in terms of with the high degree of seasonality in terms of spotlight, on sporting activities, snow holiday resorts, golf resorts. But then you've got low seasonality but high commercial development, which includes year-round playgrounds, spa resorts, casino resorts, integrated resorts, cruise ships, and so on and so forth. So you can see this diagram in terms of seasonality in tourist destinations split into different categories. So we're not going to do this group activity. So the successful destination should have a USP, a unique selling point. Grand Canyon, Eiffel Tower, Big Ben, contains an element of heritage tourism, appropriate amenities to have there. Know your market, there is a place for the identity kit destination, the more benefits the better, offer value for money. So you mustn't remain static, you must redevelop and innovate and invest and then market and then try and target those people who you want to come to your destination. So just a quick recap. What is a stakeholder? Name 3 stakeholders of a destination. What is seasonality? Why is the talc useful? Why do destinations have stereotypes? So, think about those things. So thank you for today from Mr. Tan.